Yep, that's right. I can almost believe it. It's happening myself. Tim Black is back. I'm actually shocked too. Now, guys, what's going on? How y'all doing? What's happening? Welcome to the Tim Black at Night Show. I'm your host, Tim Black, and I'm great. It's great to have you here. Happy. I hope you enjoyed your Labor Day thing, people. Hope it was great. Hope you spent time with your families and enjoyed that. Got it in. Let me say hello to everybody out there on Periscope. All my Periscope people, how y'all doing? My people on Facebook, my people on YouTube, and my folks everywhere else. I think there's one more place. Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Let's connect our Facebook people. There it is. Oh, man. Oh, good. Oh. Facebook and YouTube and Periscope. Luke Wolf. Luke Wolf joined me on Periscope. Thank you, Luke. What's up, man? What's on your mind today, Luke? Tell me what topics have got you, concerned or excited or pissed off, whatever it is, man. Let me know what it is, Luke. It's this show right here, Luke. It's me and you, bro. It's me and you, Luke. So I got Nessa Nevers in the house, Kerry Mark, David Hiley, Helen's in the house, Bruce in the house, and on the Facebook, or is that the YouTube side of the game, we have Mars Pluto, Patrick M, Brian Crosby, Karen Mitchell, Arcanite 13. He shoots, he scores. He shoots, he scores. All right, guys, I'm going to come back to the chat window. We're going to get that chat in. Today, okay, so let me whet your appetite a little bit for what the show is going to consist of. We're going to talk about Joe Biden and the possible 2020 run. All right, we're going to have that conversation because we know that 2020 is right here over the horizon. It's right there. We could just reach out, grab it, right? So we need to talk about that. We also want to talk about what's going on with the Democrats and the progressives in this little thing, this thing that's happening where we have people with Democratic tendencies and we got people with progressive tendencies. And yeah, to me, they're different. I just wish the whole world knew that they are different. It's a process of waking people up to realize it's different. It really is a different animal altogether. So let's jump into one of these clips. I want to share a couple of clips with you to accompany these videos today. That way, we like to show instead of tell on the Tim Black at Night Show. Now, just so everybody's aware, we make it very clear. The Tim Black at Night Show is not brought to you by any entities, anything with acronyms, any GOPs or DNCs or any of that. None of that is what keeps us going here. It's people like you. People like you who donate to the show. Go to justinform.com, join the website, become a member of the website. It's a social media platform that doesn't sell your data. Shout out to the truth bomb activist and the whole crew. Now, I want to start out with this.
This is propaganda because it intentionally obscures a much larger and far more interesting story. The Democratic Party is transforming before our eyes.
Well, look, you know what? Let's do this the right way because what we're going to do, let me do this the right way, guys. Because what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to use this clip as a video that I'm going to put out, okay? So let me do it like I would do it if I was recording a video. All right. So a lot of people are comparing Democrats to progressives. And that conversation has caused a lot of controversy on social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, and what have you. They look at the successful runnings and primaries of candidates such as Ocasio-Cortez, Andrew Gillum, Benjamin Jealous, and they say, oh, there could be a groundswell of progressives taking over the Democratic Party. Well, to that point, someone who has been commenting, I would say very boldly about this issue is none other than Fox News' Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson did a segment where he talked about Democrats and progressives, and I want to share it with you. Here it is.
In reality, this is propaganda because it intentionally obscures a much larger and far more interesting story. The Democratic Party is transforming before our eyes. The party of Tom Foley and Tip O'Neill and even Bill Clinton is long gone. Pretty soon the party of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer will be history too. In its place is emerging something new, the party of Andrew Gillum. Gillum is the mayor of Tallahassee. As of last night, he's the Democratic nominee for governor of Florida. Here's some of what he believes.
We want to replace ICE with the Department of Justice, an entity that has not been tarnished in the same way as ICE has.
So again, he says you want to abolish ICE, you say you want to replace it. That's basically the same.
In the state of Florida, I also believe that healthcare ought to be treated like a right and not a privilege.
Do you think the president should be impeached?
I absolutely do. I think he's already incriminated himself by interfering with the Department of Justice, firing Jim Comey, of whom I'm no fan of, but basically obstructing justice.
The state of Florida has long been considered moderate politically. It's a vital swing state, obviously, during presidential elections. Many pundits last night and today, even Democrats, have been quick to dismiss Andrew Gillum's chances this fall. He's too far out, they're saying. He's too much of an outsider. That's absurd. They have no idea what they're talking about. They were embarrassingly wrong in the last election, and they have learned precisely nothing since. Amazingly, they're still in the predictions business when they should be selling aluminum siding or doing something useful. Ignore them. Of course Andrew Gillum could win. You ought to be taking his candidacy very seriously. Candidacies like his are erupting in a lot of places right now. The man almost certain to be governor of the biggest state in the country.
Okay, so let's stop it right there. He goes in further to talk a little bit about, issues concerning the Florida race. But this segment is not about the Florida race. It's about what Tucker Carlson said about the Democratic Party and about progressives. And I think Tucker Carlson has it wrong. See, I don't believe that the Democrats, the neoliberals, the entrenched establishment, the elites of the Democratic Party, the actual people that run the Democratic Party, and I'm not talking about every single Democrat, and I'm not talking about every single Democratic politician, but the elites who are in charge of the party, who Tucker Carlson referred to as Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, those types. I don't think for a second that they're not tuned into what's happening when someone with progressive values wins a race. I think they're more than tuned in. But I think what they're doing is they're playing this game where don't mention it. Or, when you do mention it, take a crap all over it. See, it's a mind game where if they give it no legitimacy, well, pretty much most of the corporate media will follow suit. They won't give it legitimacy either. Get where I'm going? There is no way that Nancy Pelosi's, the elites, the Chuck Schumers of the world, the Tom Perez's of the world, these people within the Democratic Party, there is no way, you cannot convince me, Tucker Carlson, that these people are not concerned when people like Joe Crowley lose their spot at the table. When the average run-of-the-mill, corporate donation taken, follow anyone, vote blue anywho, line fundraising extraordinaires, because that's really what makes you prominent within the Democratic Party, is how much money you raise for the party. Don't tell me for a second that they don't wince when an ocasio-cortez defeats a Joe Crowley, when an Andrew Gillum from the back comes up and takes the primary for the Democratic Party. Don't give me that they don't know this. When Benjamin Jealous in my own state of Maryland, no political experience, comes in and decimates the field, so to speak. People who have been entrenched for years and decades. Oh no. They would have to be, like, I think we got to give them more credit. Or less credit. More credit. See, to think that they're just not paying attention, that they doubt that this is going to be serious, I think that is, I'm not sure how you place that. Is that giving them credit or taking credit away? See, I think it's strategy, it's craftsmanship, it's gamesmanship for them to pretend that there's nothing to see here. Now, as you know, if you ever follow any of these situations with police officers, for instance, They beat the hell out of somebody, and the crowd's like, what's going on? What's going on? Did you just beat him up? What did you do? You didn't have to do that. And they tell you, what they tell you? Nothing to see here. Keep it moving. Well, see, that's the strategy of the Democratic Party. They hope as long as people keep it moving, they won't recognize the weakness. Progressive Democrats are running on progressive policies. Those policies include universal basic income, universal health care, free local college, community college tuition. Radical ideas like, well, you know what, maybe we should provide work for people. The idea of ending mass incarceration, legalizing or decriminalization of marijuana, I prefer legalization. These are issues that are very popular within liberals and progressives. And dare I say, libertarians and some conservatives agree with some of them. Not all of them, but some of them. And some of them that they do disagree with is how to do it. Not necessarily that it should be done. That's the rub here. I look at the Democratic Party and Republican Party as someone would say, or someone has said in my comment section many times, two wings of the same bird. The more that you separate yourself away from the groupthink of the Democratic Party and embrace progressive ideology and be bold and courageous enough to say, you know what, I'm going to stand on these principles. These are the types of policies that get people excited. So let's go to this. Now, Andrew Gillum. Let's talk a little bit about Andrew Gillum. Because I know for a fact there are a lot of people concerned about Andrew Gillum. They talk about fundraising. They talk about his support of Hillary Clinton. And it hasn't gone missed on me that, you know, a lot of corporate media is focusing on he supported Hillary. See, even they now are attuned to the idea that Hillary may be bad for campaigns or elections. We knew that 3 years ago. You didn't talk about it then. It's amazing. Now they're using it to slam Andrew Gillum. Well, one of the things that they've been talking about with Andrew is this FBI investigation, of which he's not been named on any documents or any indictments, any documents. It's totally not named in it. But the idea of there's a possibility that Andrew Gillum could, you know, have to answer questions, and he says, I'm an open book, I'll answer your questions. Like I said, you know, it's kind of ironic how this is playing out, considering when Hillary Clinton was under investigation and was named, well, they didn't want to talk about it. They said it was a smear tactic. But now there's Andrew Gillum, someone running with progressive policies. Well, now we're going to talk about it. Now we need to be more dubious and more, you know, we pay more attention now. We need to be more focused. I don't get it. But I've been on the record to say that I feel that Andrew Gillum, his policies are what matter most to me. I would prefer it if he did not take Soros money. I would prefer that he did not take any corporate money. That's what I would prefer. You don't always get what you prefer. Maybe if we push Andrew Gillum in that direction and he realizes he does have the support of progressives, because make no mistake about it, folks, progressives are the lifeblood of the Democratic Party. The Democrats cannot win an election without progressives. Let's just make that plain and simple. No progressive had to hire a robocall or freaking bots on Twitter in order to get a message out. Progressives don't need to be paid to speak truth or to challenge the establishment. Now, no disrespect to all of the people that came out for the Hillary Clinton, the March for Women, and the hats, the pussy hat thing. No disrespect to you. No disrespect. Fact of the matter is, progressives have been coming out for all types of issues, a long grocery list of issues, way before it became popular. And when it ceases to be popular, sort of like DACA, no one talks about now, it remains in the forefront. So like I said, the progressive wing And the reason why I'm saying it's the wing is because it's to the left. They say they're for the left. I think they're actually Republican light, a lot of the Democrats that we deal with. Even they're waking up and they're realizing that they cannot win if they don't move to the actual left. Candidates like Kamala Harris adopting more progressive stances. Cory Booker adopting more progressive stances. Kristen Gillibrand adopting more progressive stances. This is all of it. All of that they're doing, all of this adoption now of progressive issues, policies, are a result of an active, progressive environment. So when Tucker Carlson says he doesn't think the Democrats are paying enough attention, they're paying enough attention. Do you think these corporate neocons, these corporate neoliberals would be adopting progressive policies that endanger their corporate sponsors on their own? Come on, man. I mean, come on, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on no, fame on no. You can't be fooled again. What did Bush say? I don't think that Tucker Carlson's fooled. I think he knows what the time is. So, is it in regards to, are the progressives taking over the party? That's the real question, right? No, they're not taking over the party. If they're taking over the party, superdelegates will be gone. Wouldn't be limited. They'd be out. They wouldn't reverse the idea of not taking PAC money. We're not taking PAC money. Then they said we're taking it 2 months later. That would have never happened. Once they made that move in that direction, that most of Americans feel is the direction for the country to go, they would have stayed there. These are just reality. This is just what's happening. So no, the progressives are not taking over the party. If they were taking over the party, there would be an investigation into the election, the primary, not the general, the primary election of the Democratic Party. And until said time that those things take place, there has been no progressive takeover. What there has been is an insurgence of progressives and pressure from progressives placed on the Democratic Party establishment, which has rendered or which has caused them to make certain moves that they wouldn't normally make. So if you are a progressive who's active on social media, if you are a progressive that's active in the ground, on the ground, boots on the ground, with causes that matter, well, this is, well, hell, this bud's for you because you made this happen. Hey, no matter how great a candidate is or what they do, it doesn't matter. You are the fuel which fuels the change. If there's to be any revolution to speak of, and I do mean any revolution, it will be powered by progressives who are willing to make a lot of noise. And up to this point, we've been making a lot of noise. There's an old saying, we ain't many, but we plenty. Check the clock. We plenty. That's why there's been any movement in the Democratic Party. All right. All right. That's right, man. So let's not give them more undue credit. The Democratic Party is designed not to be overtaken by progressives. That's the whole thing. It's set up that way. They don't want. Nancy Pelosi wants to be in office until she's 89. Same thing with Chuck Schumer. They want to run this thing forever. They have no changing of the guard mentality at all. So let me see what my chat room is saying. Chris says, what is Chris? Okay, Chris Collins, Ginger Liberty. Austin says that sanity is contagious. God, I hope so, man. I really do. I really do hope it's contagious, bro. Please tell me it's contagious. Okay, Marcus Connie says the fix is in. Pam McCoy says Nixon is great. You know, I've heard a lot of great things about Nixon. Cynthia Nixon running out there in New York. I especially like the way that she performed against Cuomo. Very inspiring. for a non-political person, an activist, to come into this arena and do a great job. I'm sure that her history, her past, her legacy, not a legacy, God, she's still with us. How can I say this? I'm sure that her professional expertise in acting helped her because she's a great public speaker. And you know what? This is something, I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. This is something that really concerns me about progressive candidates. Sharpen your game. Get better at delivering your message. You must become a master communicator. And if you can't build a following of 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,000 people on social media when it's free, I got concerns. Because in order for you to be successful, you're going to have to be able to speak in front of people and move large groups of people. Not just with the quality of your words, but the way they are expressed. I think progressive candidates and candidates from the Green Party, People's Independent Party, whatever party, I think it's vital that you become better able to communicate your message. Do what I did. Put out 2,700 videos. Don't cost you a dime. Bone up. Because the majority of people are moved by your communication skills. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on a tangent, but it really matters. And sometimes people come on the show and I'm like, what's going on, man? Like, this is your moment. Kill it. All right. Next, Steve Wilford Bray. What does Steve say? I'm sorry, Steve. Steve says, "Loved one." Oh, I got a donation. Give it up for Justin B. Justin B. I appreciate it. Justin B says, "You're absolutely right, Tim. It's time to stand, leave the Dems behind, and join us in the Green Party. Let's stick together and get it done. Candidates like Kenneth Mejia and Constance Goodell Newton will lead the way." You know what? I got to say this, guys, and thank you once again, Justin B. I try to judge each race by the candidates in that race. So here's the deal. If you have a great candidate in a race, in any state across this country, any district in any state, look, it's all about the quality of that candidate that's running. So that's what I'm saying. Look, I voted Green in the general. I took a lot of heat for it, but I believed in Dr. Jill Stein, and I believed in make a viable third-party option. I don't think you can call yourself progressive without having that idea in your head. Now, whether you decided to vote that way or not, that's a very personal decision. I, having met Dr. Jill Stein and Ajamu Baraka several times, interviewed Jill Stein 4 times, Ajamu 3 times, spent time with them, in person. Well, I knew what I needed to do. I knew what I felt moved to do. Here's the thing. If you are a progressive person, and you don't think, forget the labels. If you are a thinking person and you don't believe that we need more parties, if you can't look at the corruption in the Democratic Party, the corruption in the Republican Party, and say, you know what, I think we need more parties, I don't know what you call yourself. I don't know, Fox News, CNN watcher? Maybe that's what you call yourself? It's not radical to want more choices when it's obvious the choices you currently have are brought by Wall Street, big pharmaceuticals, the NRA, and other corporations in institutions and industries. So, yeah, I mean, you know what? I don't believe that there are actual people out there in large numbers who would disagree with that at all, Justin. They just don't know about it. They're just not getting the word out. And don't tell me for a second, guys, that's not strategic. That's the plan to keep these people with no notoriety. And while we're on the topic of notoriety, I watched Jimmy Dore interviewed Constance Goodell Newton. Now, we know I had Constance Goodell Newton on this channel, right? Of course. And now that we're back up and running, we're going to have more people on the show. I worked closely with some people in the campaign. Shout out to Andrew. What's going on, brother? But here's the thing. Jimmy Dore brought Constance on his channel. I think it was Aggressive Progressives. They gave an interview. It was on the TYT main channel, I do believe, or it was either on his channel. They're both TYT, but here's the thing. I want to shout out Jimmy Dore for bringing Constance on and interviewing her from a perspective that was different than when she was interviewed by Cenk Uygur. See, with Cenk Uygur, when she was interviewed by Cenk Uygur, she had to validate her running. She had to somehow explain why she thought she should be able to run for office, which is total BS. So thank you, Jimmy, for doing it as I knew you would do. But still, I'm still happy you did it the way you did it and for giving her a bigger platform. As the largest independent, non-network affiliated progressive, black progressive and progressive on the internet, that would be me. There's just so much I can do because I'm still not that big. I think to go to the next level, I have to network up. Like my friends, Tom, the Humanist Report, Kyle Kalinske, Secular Talk, Jimmy Dore. Like, that's the next level. But there's just so much I can do given my size, frankly. So shout out to those who supported Constance and continue to support her and give her a platform. And shout out, and I've had Kenneth Mejia on. So come on, guys. Come on. Like, this is the best people for the job. We support the best people for the job. Who else is running? Look, how could you not support Constance Goodell in Ohio? What else you got that you could actually feel proud about supporting? I don't think, that's it, man. So, I got to look myself in the mirror. You got to look yourself in the mirror. All right. I'm going to get off the soapbox for a second because we got another story I think deserves to be covered. Let's talk about this, guys.
In reality, this is propaganda because it intentionally...
No, not that one. And there's been a lot of talk about who's going to run in 2020. There's certain names that seem to bubble up from the bottom up to the surface and then rise like the phoenix. You know the names: Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Kirsten Gillibrand, Joe Biden. Well, there's been a lot of talk over the weekend about Joe Biden running. Yeah, they were really getting it in on this. This was like the thing to talk about. And it was everywhere. And I'm like, what did Joe Biden do that was so exciting? He hadn't been exciting in years. I mean, since he wrote that heck of a racist, life-shunning, future-destroying crime bill back in the 90s. I see you, Joe. Yeah, I blame Hillary for it, Roland Martin. I blamed Hillary because her and Bill, and she went around the country promoting it. But I didn't forget who the author was, Joe Biden. And if Joe Biden runs, you best believe I will be here calling him out. Not on my watch, Joe, you crime bill writing bastard that slandered and destroyed families all across this country. Ain't nobody forgot about you, sir. But I digress. I didn't give some people think we gave Joe Biden a pass. I didn't give him a pass. He didn't get my pass. He didn't get a Tim Black pass. Did he get a black pass? He didn't get a black pass. All right, sorry. I'm just tired of people acting like Joe Biden. So anyway, they were talking about Joe Biden. Why were they talking about Joe Biden? Here goes the clip explaining or showing you the Joe Biden fever that's going on across the corporate media. I can't say the country, but I will say corporate media. Here's the clip.
It's definite.
Mr. Vice President, what's your thinking about 2020 at this point, sir?
He's running, literally running. Here he is, running from the side, running from behind. People at the Pittsburgh Labor Day Parade were urging Joe Biden to run for president.
We need you, brother. You can do this.
But who knew he would run immediately? Even if all he was running for was to catch up to his assigned position in the parade after stopping to meet and greet folks. True, we've seen Biden run before. For instance, in a Let's Move fitness video with President Obama. What was running through my mind? Have we ever seen President Trump run? Critics crack that the only thing he runs is a golf cart, but we found him semi-jogging over to police to shake hands. And remember when a Greenpeace protester in a paraglider buzzed President Trump's golf course in Scotland? No wonder he ran. A few steps to shelter, Trump and Biden have already exchanged blows.
No, I wish you were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
All right, that's it, man. I cannot run that whole clip. I don't want any problems with seeing that. I don't want to run the whole clip, nor do I want to give Joe Biden that much flavor, that much love, that much attention, frankly. I think Joe Biden is neoliberal, always has been. He's a big friend of Wall Street, big friend to corporations. That's what he does. That's what he's been doing his entire time. I think people are too busy focused on personality. All right? Personality. That's it. He got that folksy nature. Well, I'm old boxcar, middle of the road boxcar Joe Biden, and I think I'm for the people, and we roll up our sleeves. I'm a scrappy kid from Scranton. You are a bottom-feeding Wall Street adulterer is what you are, Joe Biden. That's what you are. And I think it's time for us to look, I'm pulling off the gloves early. I'm not waiting to 2020 to start calling it what it is. All of the juice is in our court. It's in our court with the populist right and the populist left, the progressive left. That's where it is. Everybody else is background noise. I don't even hear them. All right? Joe Biden appeals to the middle of the road centrist. Now, I got an article here where they talk about Joe Biden. They talk about a possible run in 2020 and how he would be the most challenging opponent for Donald Trump. This is an article from Vanity Fair. And it fares badly to pass my smell test. And it does. It stinks. Who wrote this? All right. Will Joe Biden's Labor Day sprint crack Trump in 2020? No, it won't. No, it won't. You get Joe Biden, you'll end up with more Trump. I said if you get Joe Biden, you will end up with more Trump. I was right about Hillary. I'm right about Biden. Ain't nobody excited about Biden except you. Check it out. Monday found Biden sprinting through one of the country's biggest labor towns, keeping pace with his Labor Day parade and enthusiastically greeting attendees. If I were to run for president, I'd be here a lot, he told an adoring crowd at one point. Biden was in full-on campaign mode, eating ice cream, kissing babies, and touching women inappropriately. I made that part up. But not saying that wasn't true. Don't know. Biden was in, and he even gave a speech after the parade at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Union Hall. Let's stop walking around with our heads down, wondering what the hell is going on here. It's time to say enough. It's not about politics, it's about America. Brother, you can't say you support. See, here's the thing, guys. It's not about me disliking Joe or liking Joe. It's about track record. And Joe Biden has a long track record. Anybody can examine if they take the time. Was Joe pushing back against the TPP? Yeah, you say, oh, Tim, don't talk about that crime bill. It's so old. You know, there are people still in jail based on that crime bill. There are children that I grew up with. There were young people that I grew up with. When we grew up, I came of age in the 80s. People I went to school with who went into jail for a decade over a little bit of weed, who lost their lives, basically. And some did lose their lives, but lost their futures. But you say that don't matter because now it's 2018. I'm supposed to forget that happened. Okay, let's say I suspend talking about that. What about the TPP that was going to take all of the power away from countries and unions and how their workers are treated? What about that? See, Joe wants to be the fighter for the middle class, and he projects himself to be a regular guy. But meanwhile, what was he doing? He was trying to sell us up the river. He along with Obama and that TPP garbage, along with Hillary Clinton. So, yeah, he can run now with the electrical workers, give a rousing speech, or a great actor portrayal. But in reality, those bad policies, Joe Biden. Right there with him. If he didn't craft them, he was in on them, and he agreed with them. And if he didn't agree with them, he didn't publicly speak out about any of them. And if you don't have a backbone to go against your own party, when was the last time Joe Biden went against the party? Never. And that's the type of fighter you really need, someone who's willing to stand up to the establishment. Not somebody who is the establishment, who likes to wear the veneer of an outsider when he's actually more insider than you can get. Come on, just like Hillary Clinton. I mean, he's the former vice president. How much more of an insider? When are they going to learn? Trump won not just because people liked the color of his hair. He won because he was an outsider and people were tired of politics as usual. And then you're going to try to run the former VP as if that's going to help? No one is going to come out and vote for Joe Biden. No new voters are going to be like, ooh, Joe Biden. Nobody. And it's just idiocracy. I mean, won't the Democrats just admit they don't want to win when they start floating these ideas? This is a test. I believe that the Democratic Party, the DNC, and all their corporate media friends are testing the water to see if Joe Biden is viable by running these, whatever this was, propaganda, publicity stunt, whatever this is, just to see how stupid we are. Well, I got news for you, Joe. Even if some people are stupid enough to think that you are the answer to what's going on in this country right now, there are people like me who know that you are not. And it's our civic duty and our duty as American citizens, our duties as human beings on this earth, not to let it happen. So take that. All right. So we make some adjustments here. Check this out, guys. I feel like I'm all tight now. This is feeling tighter. All right. We talked a little bit earlier about Andrew Gillum out of Florida. And I want to play a clip for you about Andrew Gillum. Because, hey, this crossed my desk. I think it's important for us to have a conversation about.
I'd like to take him behind the gym.
Yeah, get that out of here. See, they talking this crap. Here goes Andrew Gillum being interviewed. This conversation. Let's see what this is. Oh, God, that's not it. Is that it? Oh, damn it. That's not. This is Andrew Gillum's, these are his actual policies. I think there's a website. I think I need to grab a website. Bear with me while I try to grab the website for Andrew Gillum, or the video for Andrew Gillum that had me a little concerned. There's an interview concerning Andrew Gillum that I want to grab. I think it's with Cuomo. Interview. Let's see if we can find it real quick, guys. Well, this'll do. Dana Bash. Okay. This will do, guys. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate you. Booyah. Let's see if we can play this. Here we go. This is Dana Bash from CNN interviewing with Andrew Gillum. Check it out.
The show of unity barely masking the deep divisions, setting the stage for the Labor Day kickoff of what is already a brutal midterm election season. A clash of political extremes is on full display in the battle for governor in Florida. A Trump-backed Republican, Ron DeSantis, versus a Bernie Sanders-backed Democrat, Andrew Gillum, fighting for control of the ultimate swing state. And joining me now is the Democratic nominee for Florida Governor, Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Let's start with the president himself, putting you in the spotlight and your race, of course, describing you this way in a tweet. A failed socialist mayor named Andrew Gillum, who has allowed crime and many other problems to flourish in this city. This is not what Florida wants or needs. You're now in a general election in a state that Trump won. You ran pretty far to the left in the primary race. In order to be governor, you need to win voters in the middle. How are you going to do that?
Yeah, well, Dana, let me first say how extremely proud I was yesterday watching Senator McCain's funeral. The comments from his daughter, Meghan, from the president, all the former presidents, really was a display of really who we are as a country. Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump are at the far other extremes of what we want, not only as a country, but as a state. And I'll tell you, I don't believe that any of the issues that I stood on in the primary are in any way disqualifying in this general election. We're going to win this race because the people of my state are interested in having an education system that their kids can get a good quality education. And right now we rank 40th out of 50th in quality. The people in my state want access to good and affordable and accessible health care. They want to see teachers paid what they're worth.
And I want to get to a lot of those issues and dig deeper on them in just a moment. Before, though, I have to get this out of the way. I don't want to give undue attention to this, but this week, a white supremacist robocall came out in your state of Florida against your campaign. You, of course, are the first black nominee for governor in the state of Florida. How are you going to fend off against attacks of what really are not just racially tinged, racist things like we're seeing there now?
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to tell you, I do find it deeply regrettable. I mean, on the day right after I secured the Democratic nomination, we had to deal with some of the dog whistles directly from my opponent. And I honestly want to sincerely say this, Dana. We can have a challenge between ideas and around what we think the people of the state of Florida deserve. What I don't want this race to turn into is a race of name calling. I want to make sure that we don't racialize and frankly weaponize race as a part of this process, which is why I've called on my opponent to really work to rise above some of these things. People are taking their cues from him, from his campaign, and from Donald Trump. And we saw in Charlottesville that could lead to real, frankly, dangerous outcomes.
And I also want to make clear that your opponent, Ron DeSantis, has condemned this robocall, which, again, we're not playing. It is beyond offensive. I want to talk about what the president mentioned also in that tweet, which is the crime rate in your city. Mr. Mayor, it is true that your county has the highest crime rate in the entire state of Florida. The number of murders there hit a new high just last year. How do you explain to Florida voters why they should trust you with their state when those crime rates are so high?
Well, I'm the mayor of the city of Tallahassee, not the county of Leon. And in the city of Tallahassee, we actually are experiencing a 5-year low in our crime rate. In fact, we're on par to see historic lows in our crime rate this year if we keep on the pattern that we're currently on. And Dana, we didn't do that by arresting more people and throwing away the key, but by leaning into smart justice, restorative justice, second chances, because the best way to control a crime rate, frankly, is to reduce the number of people who re-offend. We're very, very proud of, I think, the very progressive way in which we've addressed crime in my city, and it's evident by the numbers. I'm extremely proud of where we are, and frankly, I'd like to see those kinds of strategies scaled up all around the state of Florida.
Let's move on to healthcare. You mentioned that you support Medicare for all. A study earlier this summer from George Mason University estimates that Medicare for all, that plan, would cost the government $33 trillion, with a T, dollars, over the next decade, which obviously would require a significant tax increase. Florida has a reputation, as you know, for being a tax-averse state. Are you ready to tell the people of Florida that they need to pay a lot more in taxes to fund your health care plan?
Well, let me first say there was also a report, Dana, that showed that should we move to cover more people through a Medicare for all system, we could actually save the system trillions over an extended period of time.
You could, but in the short term, in order to do that, you need to raise taxes. Fair?
So what I would say is, first of all, and I want to be clear about this, the state of Florida could not take this road by itself. We would need to do it as part of a federation of other states coming together. Think of Florida, New York, California,
but
and
sir,
a few of the other larger states.
in order to do that, taxes would have to be raised. Is that fair? Do you agree with that?
I don't buy that. So let me just say,
how do you do that? How do you find that kind of money for the government without raising taxes?
So first I'd say, one, Florida could not do it by itself. But secondly, we have the opportunity to expand Medicaid for over 700,000 of the most medically needy people here in the state of Florida. My governor and legislature refused to do that. Do you know it costs us about $6 billion in money that should have come from the federal government to the state of Florida that we never received? And so I'm simply saying, and this I want to be clear, Dana, this is very personal to me. I remember growing up as a kid having to wait for the mobile dental clinic to come through the neighborhood in order to have my teeth cleaned.
Yeah, I know.
The
I know
biggest
you have
concern for
experiences,
people,
and
sure.
you're coming from a real place, a personal place, in supporting this. But as a government official, you have to make it work, and you have to make the numbers work. And so I still don't understand how you would do it without raising taxes.
So the first step we would take is expand Medicaid and pull down about $6 billion a year from the federal government. That's important. Secondly, as governor of the state of Florida, I would work to bring a number of the largest states into a conversation around how it is together we might be able to negotiate prices and access to health care to cover more people and ensure that even those of us who are insured, who are right now paying premium increases year over year over year, all because Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump have worked overtime to make access to health care less affordable.
Will you say that you will not support raising taxes to make your health care plan work?
I will absolutely not raise taxes on everyday working Floridians to give access to additional
What about wealthier people?
So what I said, and I ran on this, by the way, is that we will increase taxes for corporations in our state who right now, just so you're aware, only 3% of companies in the state of Florida pay the corporate tax rate, 3%. And that 3% under the Donald Trump tax scam got a windfall of $6.3 billion overnight due to the tax reform that took place in Washington, D.C. We're not asking for all of it. We simply said we believe that we ought to bring $1 billion of that money back into the state's government because being a cheap date state has not worked for the state of Florida. And unfortunately, we've got to do that if we're going to be a leading state.
One more issue. We spend a lot of time, understandably, on healthcare and immigration. You have joined growing call.
All right, I think that's enough, man. Goodness gracious, guys. I'm sorry. You know, Dana Bash is such an establishment tool for the establishment. Just every time. All right, so I was watching this clip and I was kind of fascinated by the amount of time she cut him off. Frankly, it was like she really didn't want him to be able to, sort of go into what his policies were about and how he expected to pay for them, and she just wanted to harp on taxes. I mean, the Republicans run on tax cuts for the rich. Not necessarily for us. I am concerned. Like I said, I do have my concerns about Andrew Gillum, but the majority of what he said, the majority of where he's coming from, I agree with that. Now, what I would like, and once again, someone sent me this clip. They said, Tim, you need to watch it. I watched it. I want to share it with you. Of course, I'm not down for the beginning of the video kind of turned me off, and I think this is why the person sent it to me, because they didn't like the fondness in which he was like talking about John McCain. But I feel like, politicians and people in this position, they have to be very congenial. This was right after John McCain's death, and so I understand it. If that continues, then maybe it would be more of an issue. My thing is there are people who aren't running for anything, who are still gloating about John McCain as a great peace fighter, and he did so much, for peace and all of this stuff. Like, those people I have the biggest issue with. If you're a politician running for office, and you looking to get votes, and the mind state of most Americans who have been brainwashed to believe that a warmonger is actually good for peace, well, I understand your position of how you have to be very delicate in the way that you state that. To not understand that part, my friend, I think is a little disingenuous or naive. I mean, you know that people watch CNN, they watch MSNBC, they watch Fox News, they watch these programs. They believe that the Dana Bashes of the world have their best interest. They believe the Rachel Maddows, the Chris Hayeses. They believe that Joy Reid and Chris Cuomo and all these people have their best interests, and they take that stuff in, and most of them don't do fact checking. So remember that we're in a bubble of people that actually look up things and try to investigate, and that the rest of the world is not. And these politicians, though, we are active, loud stream of voters who are paying attention. They still have to get votes from people who don't pay attention, who don't further investigate, who are busy working their jobs, taking care of their kids, making sure the car is up so they can get to work. Like, those people don't have the time. And this is one of the reasons why independent media has to continue to grow in order to educate those people, because they wouldn't understand. If Andrew Gillum got up there and he just slammed John McCain, he'd have no shot in Florida. That's what I believe. I mean, unless he was Donald Trump. So anyway, I hope that answers some of the questions about Andrew Gillum, what I think about him. And I did watch the clip. I thank you for recommending it. Look, guys, you can, anyone, if you have suggestions for the show, if there are particular clips you want offered up to the community, because believe me, Tim Black's Wolfpack is a community. Team Black is a community of viewers. Just check my chat rooms. We treat each other like family. We have sometimes heated, passionate, but sincere, never venomous conversations. I hope. So if you have a story like that you want to send to me, send it at tim@timblacktv.com. I will do my best to include it. I will choose from the list that people send, and we'll just air it on the show. I'll talk about it, and your peers can talk about it in the chat room, and I think it's great for discourse and sharing of information. All right. I think that's all I have. That was a lot, though. That was a lot. That was a lot. That was a lot. That was a lot. She's so, this whole idea that, if you run a progressive campaign, that now you need to run to the middle, that is the most disrespectful, hypocritical garbage. Man, basically what Dana Bash told Andrew Gillum is you can't win Florida on the policies that you won the primary on. As if there's going to be a different, different. No. See, they still locked in this mentality that you have to attract Republicans. No, attract people who want health care. Forget the labels. Get rid of the labels. Attract people who believe community college makes sense not only for their kids, but them. Them, if they need to go to school. Like, it makes sense. It makes sense to focus on preventing people from going into the justice system or the criminal justice system or criminal injustice system, the criminal unjust system, right? Than it is to pay to house them once they're there. It's cheaper. It's also more morally acceptable, in my opinion, being a lover of humanity. But if you don't care about people, it's still cheaper. If you're a pocketbook voter, it's cheaper to keep her out of the situation. Or him, or her. So, these things just piss. They happen to piss me off a little bit, Telling Mr. Gillum the way to win is to have lied to the people that put him in a position to win. And then run as something different than what he campaigned on to get there. This is garbage. This is corporate media. This is why you have independent media like Tim Black. This is what TBTV, TTL media is all about. Somebody's got to call this crap out. You don't get to run. I wonder if on Fox News, for all the crap I hear about Fox News, I wonder if they have their correspondents telling candidates as they lead up to the general to change from what got them to the general, because it suits corporate donors and the establishment of the Republican Party. I just wonder if that happens. I'm just wondering, Dana. I don't know. I haven't heard that critique yet. It seems like it may be something unique to the CNNs and the MSNBCs of the world. Like, it seems unique to liberal or corporate liberal media. All right, guys. I know sometimes it seems like I'm going to blow a gasket, but I'm not, guys. I'm not. My chat room will let me know. What's up, guys? Do you understand what I'm talking about, Augustine? Austin, you get it? You get where I'm going? She's telling him to be a liar. Not just to be a liar, to be a lying liar. Ginger Liberty also pay more in taxes for, what did you say there, Ginger? Tim, do you believe progressives are taking over the Democratic Party? You know the Dems revised chapter and bylaws in 73 to prevent that? I do know that, Giovanni. And they made some revisions this time around to kind of prevent that as well, by making it so that you have to be a Democrat in good standing to their scrutiny before you can even run. So yes, I absolutely agree with you, Giovanni. That's why I say, Tucker, what are you talking about, bro? What is Tucker talking? All right. Thank you, Don Hooligan. Imad Ordani says, love from our Iranian in Melbourne. Please build a network with Jimmy, Kyle, Jamal, etc. to stop the wars. The world needs you. TYT is going to co-opt the movement just as MSNBC did this decade. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, Imad, I want to thank you, first of all, man, for donating to the show. I appreciate you. And I agree, a new network is needed. But several of those people that you just listed would have to leave their current networks. So if you get Jimmy and Kyle to leave their network and also get Lee Camp to leave his network, I'm already network free. So yeah, let's rock. Let's get it in. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's build something. I'm for it. Gosh. Let's build something. I'm for it. But they'll have to leave that. And I don't know if they want to leave. Kyle has 500,000 subscribers. Jimmy is closed in on that, isn't he? I don't know if they want to leave. 2020, we got a little room to run. Maybe some things will happen if Jimmy continues to speak as boldly as he is. Maybe some things will happen that might force his hand, and maybe Kyle might change his opinion. Maybe some things, like you never know what the future holds. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I would not be disappointed if they left where they are. But regardless, as long as they continue to speak truth to power, as long as they continue to do that, hell, and you know what? Here's something else. Here's something. Let me add this in there just so people think about it. Do you think they would get the viewership that they get if they left TYT? Huh? You get where I'm going? Think about it. Everyone talks about Jimmy needs to leave, Kyle needs to leave. Okay, let's say they left. Would they become censored like I have been? Like, one, let's keep it real, man. One of the reasons why they're able to get great numbers on and get a lot of views on these issues is they have the network behind them. So would you rather Jimmy or Kyle left the ability to reach more people? Because as long as their message stays what it is, as long as the message stays strong and it wakes people up, well, if they come and they go independent like me and they got to suffer like me, basically in oblivion half the time, well, I don't know if I want that. I think we'd be winning a moral victory, but we'd be losing something else. So you get where I'm going? You get where I'm going at? Get where I'm going? So, as I think about it, and this is all in real time, bro. This isn't scripted. I didn't know you were going to ask that question. I don't play it safe. I speak from my heart. I tell you how I really feel. That would have to be a tough decision that's left up to Jimmy and Kyle. But I'm thinking as far as a movement, I'm thinking as far as waking up the world, I'm thinking as far as helping the candidates that can help change lives. Like, yo, I don't want to just say that would be better without really knowing it would be better. Just for me to say I'm with these guys, All right. Yeah, man, I got to keep my focus on what's most important. So, hey, I both sides of the coin, I'm looking at it both ways, and you guys can have at it. I'm sure you got your own opinions about it. Ryan says Jimmy Dore fans will follow him, and Jake is dead weight. All right, but hey, look, and I don't want to make this conversation about Jimmy Dore. I don't do shows like that. I try not to do shows like that. Jimmy's my brother. Kyle's my brother. Those are my friends. I respect them. Lee's my brother. These people, I've been on their shows. They've been on my shows. I have no hate, none of that, okay? My thing is, that's a decision that they have to make. And it's probably something they've thought about before. And as far as Jimmy, I think Jimmy may be waking up some people on the TYT side. Like, Don't you think that as boldly as Jimmy speaks? Now, if he was out here with Tim Black, would he be able to reach as many people? That's all I'm saying. Would he be able to reach as many people? So I think our message is more important than the vehicle that's driving it. Like, anyway. All right. Giovanna Liviana says there has been a lot of anti-democratic stuff for a long time. Superdelegates are another part of that, another example of Giovanni. By the way, Giovanni is a man's name. What's up, G? Giovanni, you're right. You're right. Yeah, there's been a lot of undemocratic stuff. Superdelegates are a perfect example of that. Like I did a show on this, G. And I'm going to tell you, bro, I brought this up. And it's something I don't think most people realize is that the majority of voters don't even know the superdelegates, that they exist. They don't even know what a superdelegate is. You think I'm wrong, go talk to regular folks. Just go wash your car and say, hey, man, you ever heard of a superdelegate? What's a superdelegate? Ask 10 people what a superdelegate is. They won't even know, let alone know that their votes outweigh theirs by, 10,000 to 1? The Electoral College needs to go anyway, right? Electoral College needs to go, but superdelegates need to go too. So give it up for that. And I think I missed a comment that and I got to scroll up in order to get this, guys. Hang on there with me. Scripts, clips, series, and flicks. Some good news today. Ayanna Pressley, the 7th district. 7th? God, I can't even talk. In the 7th district. Looks like Massachusetts. This scrolling is not good on this here. This is not good. Let me jump to YouTube, man. This is important, guys. This is one of my super chats. Somebody keeps the show going. I got to definitely get to this comment. Gotta get to his comment. Scripts, clips, and series and flicks. Some good news today. Ayanna Pressley, 7 out of Massachusetts, has won her primary, and Andrew Gillum is in the polls, is up 50-47 versus DeSantis. You know what that is, damn good news. That's damn good news. Like, I don't expect perfection out of any candidate. What I do expect are policies that matter to the people. I will be the first to hold people's feet to the fire, that they maintain and run and continue to act on the policies that they ran on. Or I will become a constant thorn in the side of any one of these grifters, if they turn out to be a grifter, or anybody who does a sudden sea change, a change of heart, their brain drops out of their head, and all of a sudden they become a neoliberal robot. I'm going to call them out every chance I get. So that's all I can do. But meanwhile, I have to give people the benefit of the doubt. If they're running on this and this is what they stand for, I want to see what they do. I want to see if they walk the walk. Okay? So shout out to Ayanna Pressley. Congratulations on your win. Things are looking good for Andrew Gillum. I support that. I hope that he pulls it out. I hope the same thing for Ben Jealous here in Maryland. I hope that he pulls it out. All right? Candidates who run on universal basic income, who have the cojones to run for universal health care, who are bold enough to talk about prison reform, legalization, protecting the environment. These issues, and I know I'm leaving out some issues, right? But if they are bold enough to take on these issues, and to put their name behind it in this climate, in this world, in this system that we live under, well, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I try to, but then I got to call them out when I have to. So it's a balance, right? It's a balance. Well, guys, as you can tell, I'm really excited. I had a great Labor Day weekend with my family. We brought home another foster puppy, so this is great. This is great. I want to encourage everyone out there, right? All of you. You can become a foster parent of a puppy or kitten, even rabbits. They got all types of animals at the shelter, right? look, you could be saving an animal's life. They provide you with the food, the toys, everything that you need to do it. It's not a lifetime commitment. You are just there as a stopgap so they have room for other dogs that need to come in, get treated, find homes. So we've done this as a second time around. The first time we had two two great puppies, cornbread, cornbread and pickles, right? And they were amazing, right? And they went to new homes, and we kept them for about a month, and they went to new homes. It was during the time of the hurricanes in Texas. Okay, so we served a purpose, and now we're doing it again. We got a little cute lab that we have, Brutus. And I just want to, look, there is nothing, I get nothing out of this except I love animals and I love you. It'll bring joy to your life and it's free. All right? So give your family the gift of saving a life, right? And bring some joy and some smiles. Go down to the shelter, become a foster parent for a kitten, a dog, a bird, or whatever they have there to give them an opportunity to have a happy life. All right? All right, that's all I got, guys. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to go to my YouTube channel. And please consider becoming a member of Tim Black's Wolfpack. You pick the amount. It's up to you. All right? I got a great new, someone signed up recently, and I want to give them a shout out. I'm sorry, guys. I got to give this person a shout out. They signed up, and I was feeling a little, you know, everybody has these down moments, right? And this just popped up. It popped up in my feed on a Sunday. So let me jump here real quick. And I saw this person, so let me try to find it. Here we go. Ayeles Lopez. Ayeles Lopez. Give it up for Ayeles Lopez. My newest Patreon who joined. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you for joining the Wolfpack, guys. Go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. Become a member of the show and help support what you love. If you value the show, if you like the show, you value it, you find it useful, then become a member of the show. You are how we keep things going. This show is brought to you once again by justinform.com. And we got a social media site that doesn't steal your data, doesn't track you, doesn't censor you. All we ask is that you sign up with a real name. Be yourself and have at it. Much love to everybody in the Wolfpack. I'll see you guys soon. And remember, don't you let nobody take your cornbread, and sprinkle some facts on them. Peace.